she's awake. Okay, so lesson 4. So I just explained that by dividing by x plus 1, you put negative 1 here, you'll get a remainder. If you put in negative 1 to the equation, you will also get the same remainder. Now, here is the remainder theorem. When a polynomial, p of x, is divided by x minus a, the remainder obtained is equal to the value of a polynomial when x equals a. The remainder is p of a. Okay? What's this saying? Well, if you're doing this, it's the same thing as p in negative a. You're going to get the same remainder, right? That's what that entire thing says. And again, things like obtained and polynomial function, remainder, all those words in there, they get a little overwhelming, but hopefully you can see just what they mean, that p of x is the same thing as dividing by that x. Now, if you go to the next page, okay, it says use the remainder theorem to find the remainder. So if I was dividing by x plus 1, I would do p of what? Negative 1. Because remember, this is p minus negative 1, and we always want to put in the number after the minus sign. Okay, I'm not going to do that one. I'll do number 2, though. What would I put into number 2? Positive a half. Very good. Now, let's just kind of slow that down a bit. We're going to go 2, and then we're going to go x minus a half, and then we're going to put the number in after the minus sign. So let's do this one. We'd go 6 times 1 half cubed minus 4 times 1 half squared plus 8 times 1 half plus 6. Now, I do want to show you something on the calculator because I know some of you don't do this, and, you know, that's cool, whatever you want, but I'm going to show you kind of a nice way to be able to find the remainders. And the easiest way is to go 1 divided by 2, and then you can just press enter, and then go store x. Now what you're saying is, I want x to be 0.5. And if you hit, like, you know, hit enter, but anytime you hit x and enter, that's what it equals. So now I can do it kind of a lot nicer. I can go 6x cubed. What is x? It's 0.5, right? Minus 4 times x squared plus 8 times x plus 6. Now, the reason why this is nice is I don't have to put brackets, I don't have to put fractions in there, so it is a lot quicker. So when you're in your check mode or whatever and you are doing this, now just remember, it is saying x is in brackets. That's what this means. It means all of x will be cubed. And I know what x is, it's a half, right? So then you do this and you get that. You should hit math, enter, enter, so you get the nice fraction. So this equals 39 over 4. So do most of you use that store function, or no? Yeah? Yeah. Some do and some don't, right? And I saw that even going around today on the test in the first period. People are putting in that in, and some people are just putting the actual number, right? So it is kind of nice till you get long, complicated ones. Okay, so find A if we were doing remainder 131 with that equation. Now you did one of those on the quiz today, but let's use the remainder theorem, which actually makes this a lot easier, because all I have to do is put in what number into p of x? P of 3. So then I just go 2 times 3 to the 4 minus 3 cubed minus 3a, or a3, whatever you want, plus 8. And this is all going to equal 131. Remember, the remainder theorem states that if I put in the, x minus whatever comes up to, I should get the remainder, right? So this is 162 minus 27 minus 3a plus 8. This equals 131. Now if I get everybody together on the left, I get 143 minus 3a equals 131. I'm going to subtract 143 to both sides. I'll get 3a equals, or negative 3 equals negative 12. Then I will divide by negative 3, a equals 4. Okay, so that's how you could have done a question off the quiz today. Okay, so example 3, it's a nice short little question. Look, it's not even 2 full lines. It's a line and a half. But this is probably a 5 to 10 minute question when we get through it. So if you were making a math test, you'd want this on there. Trust me. Okay? This one shows tons of stuff. It shows, do they know how the remainder theorem? Do they know how to use two equations, two unknowns, all that stuff. Okay? Now, you can see all this room here. Geez, that's a lot of room for that tiny little question. Okay? That's going to be jammed in there just for room, right? So there's a lot of things to know. Okay, gentlemen, you should be listening, right? Every time I look there, we're chatting. So what I'm going to do is they give me two pieces of information. That if I divide it by x plus 3, I got the remainder of negative 41. If I divide by x minus 2, I get the remainder 74. Okay? So those are my two equations. I just have to set them up. So the first one would be p of what? Negative 3. Good. Would be 2 times negative 3 to the 4 plus d times negative 3 cubed minus c times negative 3 squared plus 5 times negative 3 minus 8. That equals negative 41. Now, when you get all those numbers together on the left, what do we get? Okay, don't leave me hanging. What do we get? Anyone? I hear the buttons going. 139. So you get 139 plus, actually minus 27d minus 9c equals 1, or negative 41. What am I writing here? That should have been 139. Okay. Now, if you get that 139 to the other side, it becomes negative 139. So you get negative d 9c equals 180. Negative. Okay. Now, if you left it here, you'd still be fine. But there is something unique you can do with this one, especially when it equals. Is there something that will go into all of them? And I can kind of chop it down a little bit. 9. 9 goes nicely into these. So you will be left with, actually, if you divide by negative 9, it's even sweeter. So if I take this and divide by negative 9, now if you divide it by 9, you're still going to get the right answer. If you didn't divide at all, you would still get the right answer. You're just dealing with bigger numbers. But anyway, you get 3d plus c equals 20. Okay, so you can see why this would be an awesome written response question, right? Because I got like nice places that I can see, you know, did they get this part? Did they get this part? So that's just part one, right? There's 4 things we need to do. I need to find 2 equations. That's 2 things. Then I need to find C, and then I need to find D. Okay? So I need another equation. So I got to do this whole mess again. So I would be doing P of what? So P of 2 equals 2 times 2 to the 4th plus D times 2 cubed minus C times 2 squared plus 5 times 2 minus 8. And that's all going to equal 74. Okay, now if we get everything together for numbers, we get 34. Plus, I guess I'll do C first. So minus 4C plus 8D equals 74. And then I'm going to minus 34 to both sides. So I'll get negative 4C plus 8D equals 40. Okay, now here's another scenario where I can actually simplify since it's everybody. And I can divide everybody by 4 or negative 4, whatever you want. If I divide by negative 4, so I'm just going to go like this, divide by negative 4, I will get C minus 2D equals negative 10. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. So there's a little bit of work. And now I got to take both of these and get something going here. So let's carve out a little corner here. I will write them right over each other. 3D plus C equals 20. And then negative 2D plus C equals negative 10. Now, this one is really nice because it has the same coefficients in front of the C's. If it didn't, I'd have to multiply something to all of them to get that. Now, in the last class, we had this as 2D minus C equals 10. So we added the 2, because when you add a positive C and a negative C, it equals 0. But this case, since we did a little differently, I have them the same. So if I added, I wouldn't get rid of any variable. But if I subtracted this from this, right, then we got to keep it straight. 3D minus negative 2D is 5D. C minus C is 0, and 20 minus negative 10 is 30. Divide by 5, D equals 6. Okay, still not done. I got to find out what C is. So put C in either one of them, doesn't matter. I put it in the second one for last class. I'll put in the first one for this one. So 3 times 6 plus C equals 20. 18 plus C equals 20. I'm going to subtract 18 to both sides, and I will get C equals 2. So D equals 6, and C equals 2. Now if you look at that, tell me that's not a beautiful written response question. You're not fluking that one off. Okay? It's a good one for me to see a lot of understanding. And if you know what you're doing, it's not that hard. Okay. Now, we've already talked about this. How do you know x minus a is actually a factor? We'll put in a to p of a and see if you get 0. If you get a 0, because zeros equal roots equal x-intercepts, right? Remember those three things. They're always used kind of differently, but they do mean the same thing. So how would I find out x minus 4 is a factor of this? Now, long division was the long way. Synthetic division was the short way. Factor theorem is even shorter. Okay? So if you actually went through synthetic division and got 0, I mean, that's proof right there. The factor theorem, we would just put in what to see if it works? What would I put in? 4. right? Because it's x minus 4. So we just try that. 4 squared, always in brackets, plus 2 times 4 minus 24. Okay, and you will see that this does equal 0. So therefore, it is a factor. Okay, let's see if you can think in reverse. If 3 is a factor, see? It says 3 is a factor. What's the binomial that would divide it? X minus 3. Now we're going backwards, right? Because I said, well, x minus 3 goes in, so we'd have to put p of, everyone's quick, 3. Now, can you go backwards? Now, b, what would be the binomial? X plus 3 over 2? No, it won't be a fraction. 3x plus 2. That makes sense? Okay. Let's take it up a level. What would be the second degree polynomial if p of 5 and p of negative 2 equals 0? So what are the factors? X minus 5, x plus 2. Now, I'm going to FOIL it. X squared minus 5x plus 2x is minus 3x minus 10. That is a second degree polynomial. Okay, just FOIL it, right? Okay, for example 7, I'm not going to go through the work, but just tell me I would do p of what to test this one? I put negative 2. How about in b, p of 1/2? However, if you're not good at these, remember you can take out the 2 and leaves you with x minus 1/2, and you put in the number after the minus sign. Or you could do it, what makes this thing equal 0? Add 1 to both sides, divide by 2. Okay, so either way it gives you what you want to put in there. Okay, now example 8 is kind of leading to where we're going with this. So it wants you to completely factor this, and it does give you one little tidbit of information, that 1 is a root, but they say show that it is, okay? So when it says show that it is a root, that's telling you it is, right? They're like, well, go and show us, right? It's not saying see if 1 is a root, just go show it, okay? So how would I do that? I could put 1 in, and it should equal 0, right? Or should I put negative 1 in? Put in 1, because 1 is the root. But I want to actually go through the, because I got to totally factor this, and you'll see if they give you one of the roots, it is a huge help. Now, is there anything missing in the polynomial? No. So this will be 1, negative 9, 20, negative 12. And when 1 is the root, life's pretty easy. So drop the 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Add negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8. Negative 8 and 20, 12. 1 times 12 is 12, is 0. Okay, well, I'm hoping it's 0. So this is 1x squared minus 8x plus 12. X minus 1. Okay, that equals x cubed minus 9x squared, right? Now, see, I want to factor the second half, that second part. And we know how to do x squared. It's really easy. We can use, what two things add this, or we can use our friend, what else could we use to do that? Find the factors. Quadratic formula, you could even graph it, find out what your zeros are. But anyway, what two things add to give me negative 8 and multiply to give me 12? Negative 2, negative 6, negative 2, negative 6. So it'd be x minus 1, x minus 2, and x minus 6. Okay. So what are the other roots? I haven't even answered the question yet. Now the roots are 2 and 6. Now an easy way to check this over, put 2 into it above, and see if you get 0. Put 6 above, see if you get 0. Graph it. It better go through 1, 2, and 6, or else either you graphed it wrong or you did all your work wrong. Okay? So not too heavy of a day. I think it's pretty well review. So we're going to do 1 to 20, but for 7, just do A and D. Okay, I'm just going to scroll through the homework for all those people that are in Italy right now, waiting for this lesson to be put up. Pacing the hallways, wondering if it's ever going to go up.